A Kerala court has convicted two men accused of raping and murdering a Latvian tourist named Leega in March 2018. The 33-year-old had visited Kovalam for an ayurvedic treatment, but 1 month later, her decomposed and beheaded body was recovered from a mangrove. The two accused, Umeh and Udayan, have been found guilty of the crime. Their sentence will be pronounced on Monday. Now, the prosecution had argued that the convicts lured the woman by offering her a local tour. The police arrested the two men within 12 days of the body being discovered. But both of them were eventually released on bail. The victim's sister was allowed to view the court's proceedings online from Ireland after a request from the Latvian embassy. Legal experts say this is a rare case of a court allowing a foreign national to view its proceedings live, but you do understand why the sister wanted to go through every proceeding that was happening here in the courts. It's because it was her, at her prodding, that the Kerala police for 40 days kept looking for Leega without any clue. She was the one who constantly went to the police, constantly went asking if someone had seen her sister, aiding the police in that way. Joining me is Manoj Abraham. He's serving as the director of Kerala's Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau. But way back in 2018, he was the Trivandrum Range Inspector General and also the lead officer in the probe team. Manoj Abraham, first of all, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. After 4 years, there is finally a conviction, finally justice for a young woman who was raped and murdered in what is often called God's own country. You were instrumental in that investigation. How does it feel today? Of course, the quantum of punishment will only be announced on Monday, but today, how does it feel to get that conviction?
Yeah, basically, this is a very satisfying moment in the sense that we investigate, of course, a lot of cases. This case was especially difficult in the sense it was a blind case, and this case had a lot of ramifications also. It had an international ramification in the sense that a foreigner was involved, the victim was a foreigner, and of course, the part of being a blind case totally, because we discovered the body after 40 days of the event. And so the usual clues that we get in any investigation of the case was not available in this. So in that case, we investigated, and finally the court has come to a judgment where the conviction has come up, which is very satisfying for not only me, but the entire team and Kerala police together, because we are known as a force which is one of the best in investigation and has been performing very well in the past few years.
Manoj, can I ask you this? You have said this is a blind case. You're also pointing out to the fact that it was only after 40 days that Leega's body was finally found. I want to ask you how you then finally got to these two men.
Okay, basically, the biggest challenge was when you find the body after 40 days, the usual forensic evidence, the medical evidence, the circumstantial evidence that you collect from the field of, say, fingerprints, of all kinds of hair samples, etc., were not there. Because in 40 days, with the Kerala climate, with a lot of rains, etc., everything gets washed away. And in the body also, once you are investigating a homicide case or a rape case, the investigation clues on the body and the scene that you find was absent in this case. So it took a lot of investigation skills, a lot of scientific skills from the FSL also. And the postmortem done by the forensic medicine department was also very good, where they got adequate clues for us to really build that case. And then it was actually the physical work on the field, because Kovalam is a beach area where the event happened. And so it's questioning many people all around, because there are people from all around the globe in Kovalam. So you need to question those tourists, the people who are going around, and all those locals also. So it was a very tedious exercise, which took days together. And finally, we zeroed in on those two persons, which are totally blind. Nobody had seen, because there were no witnesses also. No cameras also were there in that area, which we generally used for investigation nowadays. So it was totally blind case. And so it required a lot of investigation skills on one side and good work by the forensic department, the forensic medicine department also, so that we could stitch everything back together and build a strong case, which actually ended in the conviction today.
So in that sense, in some ways, much like the Shraddha Aftab murder case, where the entire case is being built on circumstantial evidence, do we know what the motive of these two men was? Was there anything beyond them wanting to rape her?
It was basically, it was not a planned affair because Leega itself, she actually, she was in a resort far from here, far from Kolam. That is when she actually, she was doing yoga with a sister, and she actually, without any reason, she left that institute and came to Kolam. Maybe to look at the beach for any other reason. Also, she had some problems, medical problems also. That is where these two people accosted her, and they saw that the usual motive of rape was there, and that is what they gave her a BD with some intoxicated material, and they kidnapped her, and that's how she was raped and then killed. So there's no pre-planned motive behind the whole thing or a conspiracy behind the whole thing. It happened because by chance Liga came to that spot where they were actually there. So that is how it happened. No real planning or no real pre-planned motive in this regard.
This is also some sort of closure for Leega's family, especially for her sister. This case was unique in the sense that the court, for the very first time, gave the rights to a foreign national to actually view proceedings sitting in Ireland. So these every proceeding was live broadcast just so that Leega's sister, who had prodded this case, could see the proceedings. She, I believe, was the one who not just prodded the police, but also went looking for her sister for 40 days when no one could find her.
Yeah, very true. Because I told you this case had an international ramification. Also, Kerala, as such, it was a blot on our system also because we keep on projecting ourselves as God's own country and a very safe. Tourists have a very safe haven in Kerala. That's what our projection was. And this was a dent on the whole projection of Kerala as being one of the top tourist destinations in the world. So that was another challenge for us. And of course, Ilse, her sister, was always there with the police. She, from day one, the moment the complaint came up, she was with the police trying to find out those 40 days when she couldn't be found. She was going all around the place to all the police officers. So from DGP, me, down below to everybody. And so her constant prodding was there. And of course, she supported us also hugely in the case. In the investigation stage itself, also, she was fully here. After the completion of the investigation, only she left in between. But when the trial started, she again came back. She was the one actually prodding the High Court also to get the trial started fast. And due to her prodding her case that she filed in the High Court, the trial also started immediately. And she was there behind us in every move. She was with the investigation, with the prosecution, helping us in this regard. And finally, when she had to go back, also we actually approached the court. She also approached the court, and in a rare case, the court actually gave a video connect to the trial proceedings where she could actually become a part of those trial proceedings also, which is a unique thing, and which her support also helped us in this case and detecting the case and taking the prosecution forward also, and finally this case ending in conviction also.
Manoj Abraham, thank you very much for joining us. It's a satisfying moment for you as the lead investigator in this case to get this conviction, but especially so, I think, for Leega's family way back in Ireland, who've been waiting for justice for 4 years. Finally, on Monday, the quantum of punishment for these two convicts will be declared, will be announced. The conviction of these two men comes close on the heels of what has happened in Mumbai this week. A Korean influencer was molested and groped on her live stream. Both these incidents raise questions about the safety of women, tourists, especially foreign tourists in India. Almost 18 lakh foreign tourists visit our country every year. The industry is worth almost $178 billion. Just imagine you're a young female traveler sitting in Japan or South Korea or Italy or England. You see this kind of news on social media, chances are you will think twice before visiting India. Plus, we already have a poor record when it comes to foreign travelers. India ranks 9th on the list of most unsafe countries for female travelers. We are clubbed with the likes of Morocco and Iran. That's how bad it is. And such incidents don't just happen in Mumbai or Trivandrum. They have been reported all over the country. Let me recount some of them for you. In 2017, an Irish woman, and you've just heard her story, was raped and murdered in Goa as she came to India to take part in the Holi celebrations, but the trip ended very badly for her. In 2016, an Israeli woman was gang raped by two men in Manali. They offered her a lift but ended up assaulting and raping her. In 2015, a German woman was raped by an auto driver in Delhi. He first offered to help her, but later assaulted and raped the 19-year-old. I could give you dozens of cases like these from all over India. In 2021, more than 150 cases were registered in crimes against foreigners. So what happened to the Latvian tourist in 2018 or the Korean influencer this week are not one-offs. It is indicative of a larger problem with our society.